What's going on, guys? There's been quite a bit of new info coming out for Cyberpunk 2077 in the recent week. With Cyberpunk's Night City Wire 2 coming shortly as well, we should be seeing a ton of new info dropping. This video is going to focus on a few new updates we have about combat and the dialogue, so let's get into it. Usually in games, dialogue is kind of boring. You go and talk to someone, you may have the opportunity to respawn with a set of answers, and so on and so forth. But there isn't much in it except clicking a button to get through it. In Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red is taking the dialogue to another level. In an article in the official PlayStation magazine, we learned that they are vastly improving on their dialogue scenarios within Cyberpunk. We already knew that different life paths would offer a new set of dialogue options for players to use that could shift the narrative of the story to different outcomes. And speaking about the dialogue, apparently CD Projekt Red has over 2 thick books of dialogue written for the game. One book is for NPCs, and the other is for responses players will have the options of using. With this much dialogue, I hardly think the conversations in Night City will be repetitive and boring. Every run-in with a character will be original and unique. Improving upon the dialogue even more, the article speaks about how V will be able to look around while being in conversations. This will be very important as people in Night City can be very shady. So if a player sees an NPC put their hand behind their back, one can adjust the situation and attack right then and there, or run away if the situation isn't in their favor. The area around them as well will have things going on. The article mentions that players may see things like suspicious cars pulling up across the road. Should the player catch these signs in time, they can choose to react to them however they see fit. So basically what this entails is that at any moment you can be killed, even during a dialogue sequence. This makes the game so much more immersive as now you have to pay attention at all times. You can't take your foot off for 1 second. You might think the person is on your side and the next thing you know, you're dead. I like this a lot. It will make for some intense moments even when players might not be expecting it. Getting into the new combat news that surfaced, Ben Moore from Easy Allies reviewed the game recently and had some words on it. Ben says that the combat is mechanically fun, and at first it looks awkward, but there are quite a few mechanics that make it fun, like light and heavy attacks, parries, guard breaks, dodging, and more. So the mechanics are there, but how's the actual gameplay going to be? Like the fight scene with the twins, the melee looks kind of alright. It seems a little not quite fully fleshed out yet. I'm hoping that we see more in-game melee very soon. Personally, I was going to go for a melee katana build, so I really want the melee aspects of Cyberpunk to be great. And who knows, it is an RPG, so maybe the melee feels off in the beginning, as players wouldn't have built up their melee stats yet. We learn a little bit more from Ben as well. V isn't bullet resistant. He said that just a few bullets are enough to kill V, which I can get behind. V isn't superhuman after all, so they shouldn't be able to take an entire gang's worth of bullets. I think it'll allow for smarter gameplay rather than run and gun, unless you're exceptional at dodging bullets, which will be possible with Cyberware that does slow down time. But hey, what if players can make V full Borg like Atom Smasher, and they can take a few hundred bullets? Moving to another magazine, The Edge magazine, lead gameplay designer Michael Dobrowski mentioned that a player can reach aimbot levels with their guns. Now this sounds ridiculous, but it makes sense. This extends to the game's weapon proficiency systems, which means that the more you use a weapon, the better your character will be at using it in combat. This proficiency, according to Michael, can reach the point where eventually it'll be like you're using an aimbot. And I think that this is awesome. Players should get rewarded for the time invested in the weapon they choose, and I think that basically being godlike with a weapon is a great one. It's a single player game anyway, so there's no issue with that in a multiplayer sense. Plus, they already have a smart guns that have aimbot built in, so there's that. All in all, this news is really exciting and it just keeps getting better. The dialogue news is my favorite, as it will add another realistic layer to the game that should keep players always paying attention to the world around them. And I think this has been CDPR's goal from the beginning, to make Night City a living, breathing world in which us as players have a say in what affects it. If you enjoy this content, stick around for some videos coming up or down in the description below. Make sure to sub so you don't miss out any more game updates on Cyberpunk. And until next time, remember, always take it to the edge. It's the Cyberpunk way.